The Baltimore Orioles, they get a win over the Toronto Blue Jays. We're going no countdown today because this is going to be a little shorter than usual because we're going to the Stateside Cup down in Annapolis just in almost 30, 45 minutes here. But of course, we had to hop on Kevin and Zach React and break down the Baltimore Orioles beating the Toronto Blue Jays 10-4. And look, this was the Jackson Holliday arrival party. Comes back up. Obviously, the trade deadline frenzy yesterday. We did about a 5-hour stream for that, by the way. But we end up seeing Connor Norby moved, Kyle Stowers, a bunch of guys. And one of the corresponding moves to that was we ended up seeing Jackson Holliday come up to the bigs again after, he certainly struggled his first time, .059 average. And does he deliver in his first game back with a bang, the grand slam? Actually, almost had a second one. I know there was some controversy about, did it hit the line? Was the replay too grainy and everything? But of course, it was a foul ball. But Jackson Holliday absolutely crushes. And we have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, we're going to get into Jackson, that whole exciting thing. Of course, with the great thing does come the bad thing, as Jordan Westburg gets hit on the hand and Brandon Hyde reveals it is a fracture. So the Orioles hope will be back by the end of the regular season, but we'll talk about that timeline, who ends up coming up to replace him, and what that might look like. So just kind of a damper on a really cool day for the Orioles and a really cool day for Jackson. But yeah, we're going to dive into it here again. Just some regular scheduled maintenance before we get into that. This is Kevin and Zach React. If you're watching on the Ryan Ripken Show channel, really appreciate you tuning in over there. But we are moving. We're in the process. As Zach said, we have our U-Haul. We got our boxes going. And we're moving over to a new channel. We're cross-streaming on both the Ryan Ripken Show channel. And you have, of course, for the actual Ryan Ripken Show channel, it's not necessarily that's all ending. We're, of course, still going to be under the Ryan Ripken Show umbrella. But to me, I also think the big part of this thing is for what we're doing, we wanted to have a separate channel so that we could clean up the main channel and just figure out everything else from there on this new one. So we'll be doing call-ins. We'll be doing live game day reactions. We have a lot planned and a lot in store, so I'm going to put the link to that down below. I also just realized I forgot to put the Twitter link in, so yeah, hopefully people are moving in on there as well. But the Kevin and Zach React channel, link is in the description, or at least it's going in the description. There, come on, there it is. All right, so if you want to go subscribe over there, we'd really appreciate that, because we're trying to build this up, get 1,000 subscribers, and we have a lot over there as well. Michael asking, where is Mr. Zach Bollinger? Of course, this is Kevin and Zach React, not just Kevin React. Zach is driving back. He said he might hop on. Actually, I'll send him the link. I forgot to send it. We're just moving a million miles a minute here. I forgot to send him the link. We're going to send him the link just in case he wants to hop on. But he's driving back, so it'll be me. I believe Rocco is going to hop on at some point. This is actually Rocco's place. So, we're carpooling over to the Stateside Cup in Annapolis. So, this is usually where Rocco sits, but I'm sitting in the Rocco chair today. But I think first of all, we got to start with Jackson. I know the Westburg news kind of has everybody right now, and that's what everybody's talking about, but it would be unfair to Jackson to not talk about Jackson, because I think, to me, some of the stuff that Zach and I talked about last night was, for him, what does he have to do to be successful this time around? What do we want to see from him this time around? And I think just patient at bats, working through things, and not letting things get into your head. And again, it's different coming up the first time. You have all this fanfare around you. Cameras are in your face. It's all this top prospect is up and he's here. What is he going to do? It's not as big this time around because he's already been through that. So he was able to capitalize, and again, just absolutely crushed that ball off the bat. I mean, look, he knew it. Everybody in the stadium knew it. Everybody watching knew it. And Steve here, great point. Just the at-bats were better too, even on the balls that he didn't end up doing anything with, or the ground outs or whatever he was trying to do. I think he was patient through his approach. He was seeing the ball better. And that, to me, was really a big development for him in what we saw when he was up first, and then what we saw this time around. And I see Raven Lunatic saying he hit the 3-run homer. Man, it was so cool. I still can't tell on the replay. I still don't know, but I think it got a little bit of the line, then obviously bounced into foul territory so it obviously went into foul territory instead of hitting in the pole. But again, hitting the line, I want to watch it again because I'm not exactly sure, because I tried to see it, and I see a lot of people are agreeing. A lot of people are agreeing with that. So we are going to see. And Jeff saying all of a sudden everyone forgets about Norby. And again, I said this on, I forget, we did 3 streams yesterday. I forgot which stream I said it on, but if you can trade a guy like Connor Norby, and again, we can talk about value in that deal, and like, was trading Norby and Stowers for Rogers, like, was that a good value? I still find it a little bit of an overpay personally, just based off of them. But we knew that when Holliday was up, Norby wasn't getting playing time. We knew Stowers, there wasn't a place for him on the team. But with Norby, when you can replace a guy like that with the top prospect in baseball, it's a pretty good problem to have. And it's okay, Casey. I'm blind too, even though I have 20/20 vision. Just want to put that out there. Not a lot of people know. You want a fun fact? I have 20/20 vision. So no glasses for me, although I'm probably jinxing myself. I'm not going to be able to see tomorrow. But with Connor Norby, by the way, the Marlins sent him down to AAA Jacksonville. Kyle Stowers went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts in his Marlins debut this afternoon. Connor Norby is not with the major league club, which absolutely shocks me. I know that they are trying to turn him into a third baseman, I believe is the report. I don't know how true that is. I think that's what I saw. But like, why are the Marlins playing their guys over him? I mean, what is it? So I don't know. And Kayla asking what the prop is today. Actually, I didn't do a prop last night, and I didn't do one today. I thought I was going to be in the studio doing this, so I had a prop at the studio. But we're gonna have to improvise. I brought this Nutri-Grain knockoff bar that's apple cinnamon. If you haven't had these, by the way, are just Nutri-Grain. This is not the brand, obviously, but here's the prop from last night right here. And then, oh, actually, I have something in here. I have something in here for the second prop. I have to find it. 1 second. Here we go. An unopened Old Bay to go. Because obviously I'm a big Old Bay guy. Everybody knows that. Being here from Maryland, you got to have the Old Bay on hand. I haven't opened this yet. I just haven't had an opportunity. But we got the Old Bay to go seasoning right here. So we got 2 props for 2 wins. There we go. So, again, really awesome for Jackson. I mean, the stadium went bonkers and bananas. And it felt the emotions of everybody, particularly him, right? Like, I want to know. I mean, I'm not sure if he was asked, but like what he was thinking, kind of moving around the bases. And, is he blacked out? Is he thinking like, oh my God, I'm like, what's the trot looking like? But it just felt like this wave of relief washed over him. And that to me is, great, because this can kind of be the start of it for him. All that he needed was to see one get out, and to have your first major league home run be a ball that cleared the wall, went to Utah Street, and is a grand slam. Like, you're hitting all the boxes. There's not a more perfect scenario for Jackson Holliday, but it goes beyond the grand slam. And I see Fat O's fan, kind of what we were talking about earlier. I 100% agree with this. He made good contact on several at-bats today. Good contact, was seeing the ball well. I think his approach was a lot better. And that is what the situation is because of what he did coming up the first time and being up the second time, right? To me, the first time, it's always about adjustment. Jackson talked about it before the game, where it's like, look, this is the best league in the world, and he has to prove that he belongs, and everything that goes on here. No need to apologize. It's a good point. I wanted to talk about it again more in depth, so I appreciate you bringing it up. And I see 3-0 take. I know, Kyle, you were at the game, and different sound off the bat, as they say. The kid will be special, man. I 100% agree. So shout out to the 3-0 take, and you got Jaron Duran being the next Babe Ruth of baseball, by the way. So I think the whole league has something to fear here with Duran and Jackson Holliday, that AL East combination for years to come. But since we are in Rocco DeSangro's house and I have to unmute my computer for this, I'm sitting in the Rocco spot. I have kicked Rocco out to his deck. So, Rocco, sorry, I kind of took over your house.
How'd I get relegated to the deck? Like, you get the big chair, I get the small chair. Is this how it is now?
It happens, man. You just got to live with it.
It's all right. Well,
how you feeling, man? Jackson with a grand slam. I know everybody's like, can you get a hit today? And he certainly did, and more.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, what a big way to just step up and have a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. You know, that's something Jackson was thinking about, not only this stint with the O's, but last stint with the O's, getting not only that first hit out of the way. I mean, he did that, got his first hit out of the way a while ago, but that first home run, it's a big one. And to do it in style, a grand slam onto Utah Street. I mean, incredible, man. You couldn't ask for a better first home run for Jackson Holliday, and hopefully he can build off this game and just some momentum going forward, because that's what you want to see from your number one prospect.
Yeah. We kind of talked about it earlier, Rocco, but I thought that his approach was a lot better today. I felt like he was a lot calmer today, and it just felt like he had a plan going into his at-bats. He was making good even on the balls that didn't end up getting him on base. He made good contact on those balls, and it felt like he understood what it took to be up there today, as opposed to when he first came up, which is natural. You've never been up there before. You know, it's a learning experience. So I do think that him having his experience the first time, hitting .059, going back down, finding himself, coming back up, ended up being a positive thing at the end of the day for him.
No doubt, Kev. I mean, you look, he went 1 for 5, but the big hit was the grand slam, and he made some really solid contact, and that's what you like to see from Jackson Holliday. And on top of that, you get a nice double play to end the game. So getting it done with the glove, getting it done at the plate, much more to come for Jackson Holliday. We knew this. We knew, we called it a quote-unquote failure the first time he came up, but that wasn't like really the right wordage, I guess. It was a bump in the road for him in his career. But what I was trying to get at was, this is a guy who's really never experienced that failure or that feeling of, okay, I didn't accomplish what I set out to do in his first go around. So then he goes down to AAA. He gets right, does suffer the elbow injury, but he's going to be one of the better players in baseball when it's all said and done. I don't say that just to say that, and just because, we're broadcasting here in Baltimore. He's got all the intangibles. He's got all the skills, all the tools, whatever you want to call them, to be one of the greats. So I really think Jackson Holliday, he's going to look back at that one for whatever it was start to his career, the batting average, and he's going to laugh about it one day, and this fan base is going to laugh about it one day, because he's so talented. He's got a great head on his shoulders, and he knows how to play the game. That's all you need.
Yeah, 100%. And Fat O's fan here saying he's like Seti a few weeks ago, good contact starts to yield results if you keep at it. And I know in Cedric's case, he was just getting robbed left and right of his good contact hits. What was it, like a couple months ago? He just couldn't buy a break. Yeah. But then he kept at it, kept hitting the ball, and now he is back. Even for a guy like Colton Cowser, right, who had the great start to the year, struggled for a couple of months, but has now found himself again.
Yes.
And Ryan will say it, baseball is such a hard game. You go through slumps. Sometimes slumps are a week. Sometimes slumps are a month. Sometimes slumps are multiple months. And sometimes guys never get out of them, but usually they do in some way, shape, or form. And for Jackson, him having all the cameras in his face and all the fanfare around him to start, it's a lot. It's a lot for anybody, I'm sure.
Yep.
And a nice little tidbit, too, is we talked to Jackson's dad, Matt, friend of the show, and Matt's first home run was his first hit. So it stays in the family, I guess, with Matt and Jackson doing the same thing. And Michael, again, saying it was Jackson's first time dealing with adversity. Yeah, I mean, at every single level prior to this, he's just been dominant and one of the best players on the field and hasn't had to face any of that. I think everybody at some point in life goes through some level of adversity, and it makes them better a lot of the time. So that, to me, is really important, especially when you talk about Jackson and the potential we know that he has. And here's Ryan saying baseball is such a hard game. Jackson's not going to hit a grand slam every game. We know that. But I thought it was a much better piece of hitting and a much better showing from him today.
Yeah, and, Raven Lunatic brings up a good point. Sorry. 2 for 5 with 7 RBIs. It wasn't 1 for 5, because that second home run did happen in the eyes of Birdland, and rightfully so. But imagine, Kevin, if he hit 2 on the day. Basically did. I mean, what a way to come back up, put a solid bat on the ball, and, show everyone that, hey, I've arrived. I'm here. Like, this is who I am. This is the play that you're getting in me. I'm ready to help this team push, make a postseason push, not only do that, but win a World Series, because that's the ultimate goal. And then we talked about this earlier, Kev. I don't know if you dove into this yet, but the injury now to Jordan Westberg, that absolutely sucks. And I'm not 1,000% sure if that happens before the deadline. I'm not sure what the O's do if they hold on to Connor Norby at that point in time. If they're like, okay, we're still going to get rid of Norby and get this pitcher from the Marlins. But I don't want to call it. I want to use the right wordage here because, again, it's not. You hate to see players get injured, but opportunity-wise for Coby Mayo, this could be the opportunity to get him up to the bigs. I hate that it's coming on the heels of an injury. I don't know what the O's are going to do, if they're going to continue to ride with Ramon Arias. I know how this fan base would potentially feel about that, but this could be Coby Mayo's opportunity to finally get the call to the bigs. Like I said, injuries suck. They happen. The O's are hoping that Jordan Westberg is going to be back by the end of the season. But for Coby Mayo, a guy that has sat there, he's waited his turn. He's a guy that got called up at the same time to Double-A with Connor Norby and with Colton Cowser. It was those three called up at the same time, promoted to Double-A. And he's been sitting down there in Triple-A, just waiting and waiting and mashing and waiting. So for Coby Mayo, I think we could see his time coming soon. If not, if he doesn't get brought up this time around, you have to think that the Orioles are probably going to wait post September 1st to bring him up to the bigs.
Yeah, I don't know what else would need to happen here. I mean, it is sad. So for those who missed it, Jordan Westberg did get hit in the hand today, and Brandon Hyde now says a fracture. So Jordan Westberg suffering a broken hand, and they hope he can return by the end of the regular season, but obviously they don't have a timeline on that just yet. So could return by the time the regular season ends, could return sometime in the postseason. We don't really know what that looks like right now, but is it Mayo time? I mean, to me, I think that it has to be. I mean, if not now, when? You have traded Connor Norby away. Jackson Holliday has replaced him, which was the one-for-one move, by the way, in my opinion. I think Connor for Jackson made sense. Now, I understand, when you're talking about Westberg, what do you do in this situation? Because with Ramon, you can play him at third. Do you trust Coby enough at third is the question. We know there are questions about the defense. And if Westberg he's going to miss, a lot of time. He has to recover from that fully. So I think, to me, are you trusting Ramon in a full-time role? Are you bringing back up Trevor? Is that someone who you maybe look at? And do you trust his defense more over Coby? Do you view Coby as more of a DH? Because if they do, well, they just brought in Eloy Jimenez. And you already have Ryan O'Hearn. And the thing about acquiring Jimenez, and Zach and I and Rocco, I know we all talked about this last night, was O'Hearn struggles against lefties. He has come on this show and told us he struggles against lefties. But Jimenez hits lefties well. So you now have a technically platoon at DH of Jimenez and O'Hearn, where you can play that. We know Hyde loves playing matchups. You can play the matchups with that, not have to feel pigeonholed. But a three-man DH rotation, if you don't trust Coby in the field, would be a lot. So I think if Coby comes up, you would have to put him at third. So do you trust the defense of Ramon Arias over Coby? I mean, the answer to that is yes, obviously. But
he's a Gold Glover.
With the hitting, it's what do you do about that? So can I make a poll quickly? Let me see. I probably can't because we're cross streaming, but I personally would call up Coby Mayo, but there is a world where they call up Vavra instead and they play Arias full time and kind of throw in Vavra as well. So what do you think? Do you think he comes up?
To me, I mean, I would love to see it, Kev, but I also see a scenario where they just don't do it, and where everyone's getting their hopes up and everyone's hopes are just crushed. I mean, it's happened before. But for this team, I know, they've had some defensive struggles in the second half, especially. But inserting a bat like Coby Mayo in the lineup, I will take that over defense 9 out of 10 times, maybe 10 out of 10 times. What his bat is capable of, and to add it into a lineup with, certain guys are struggling right now. Okay. But when the O's get on, those slumps hopefully are not going to last forever with certain guys. So adding a bat like that is going to be huge going forward. And then you see what Jackson Holliday can do in his second time up here. I love the thought of kind of riding the wave of the young guys when you can. and seeing where it takes you. I don't know if too many people will be mad about that, just to see the guy get a chance, because people have been begging for the O's. It's just like, call Mayo, give Mayo a shot. The sad part is, I mean, the tough part is it's a crowded infield right there. So it's like, where would you put him? Because Westberg's healthy, okay, you're going to usually put him at third. Gunnar, you're not taking out a short. Now you got Jackson Holliday at second. He's going to stay there, and then you got Mountie at first. Okay, so that's a crowded infield right there. And then you talk about DH, and you just brought in another guy to DH, like you talked about, Kevin. So it's crowded up there. It really is. So when people saw, I remember it was like the Norfolk Tides put out a lineup, but it was by mistake Coby Mayo in center field. Everyone's eyes lit up. They're like, this guy has never played outfield, I don't believe, in his professional career. And to see him there, it's like, all right, the Orioles might have a plan. But now it's like this could be the opportunity for him to get the call, come up, and really help the team win some ball games.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Wally making a point here, Coby Mayo is not on the 40-man roster. So who would get the DFA? Is it Zimmerman? And by Zimmerman, it's obviously Bruce. He means could be him, could be Selby. Maybe they DFA Slater, which could happen. I think they might have done that anyway. Avila might. They have a couple of options if they want to move him off, but I don't know. They want to, because Soto is going to be in the minors. He has options, so he's going to be down there, and that's what you want. But they would have to take someone off the 40-man to add Mayo to it. So that's another equation. But the Orioles are not done roster shuffling. They'll have to put Westberg on the IL. They'll have to, kind of move some guys around anyway. But yeah, I see is it Pache? Is it Slater? One of those guys, Selby. So it is a thing. But I just think Mayo can be that spark. Like he and Jackson coming up and hitting well can be that spark this offense needs to continue. They've already gotten somewhat back on track. But I think if you can continue that momentum, obviously you do have to talk about the defense with Coby, and obviously Jackson is just coming back from not playing defense for a while. So that's the one that we're going to kind of have to figure out here with how they want to roster shuffle. But look, they have a lot of stuff that they have to do here in these next 24, 48 hours to get guys off. And I saw someone asked about, where is it? The Mateo return. He was transferred over to the 60-day IL. So essentially his season is over at that point, which is it's a serious injury, and it's a long road to recovery for him. And it sucks, man, because, you're talking about an infield that now has lost both Jorge Mateo and Jordan Westberg, and your hope is that Westberg can come back at some point. Now, again, you have the infield depth down in the minor leagues to, Jackson comes up and it works, and Coby can come up and it works, but that doesn't take away the fact that losing both those guys are two really big blows.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Gav, you hit the nail right on the head right there with that. It's I can tell you a guy that is going to remain on the roster with the injuries and is not going anywhere. I mean, unless I'm crazy in saying this, is Ramon Arias, because you need him for, if you're not going to start him, you absolutely need him for depth right now with the injuries in the infield. You do. You need to find a way to keep, and his bat's been hot as of late. I truly think Ramon Arias can help a team in a postseason push as well. Now, I'm not saying, listen, if Coby Mayo comes up and he starts hitting the absolute crap off the ball, or crap out of the ball, you gotta play him every day and ride the bat. But I don't see a world where Ramon Arias isn't helping the O's potentially win a World Series this year if they can. This is a guy that, Gold Glover, great with a glove. He shows flashes at the plate. And yes, it's not going to be, you're not going to get the Ramon Arias you've been getting the last couple of games every single day. That's just a fact. But he's not a bad ball player, and he could truly help this team in the depth department if you're not going to start him every day going forward, if you're going to bring a guy like Coby Mayo up.
Yeah. So they have decisions to make here, but I know it's kind of a cold glass of water to the face after Jackson, hits a grand slam and the vibes are so good. And it's been a couple of good vibes days for the most part for the Orioles in terms of the trade deadline. And and everything that's going on. But yeah, just stinks because Westberg has been so good for them this season, both as a power guy in the field and, command has been off all year for all teams. Like there just teams have not had good command for the most part. And obviously we know the Orioles and Yankees have had feuds over command and what that has looked like. But yeah, it's unfortunate for Westy, and hopefully he can end up coming back. But by the way, if you are new to the show here, this is Kevin and Zach React. Welcome in. We have 180 people right now watching on the Ryan Ripken Show channel, which is absolutely unbelievable. For those who might have missed it, we are moving over to a new channel. For those who were in that channel on the first day, I know you're probably tired of me saying it, but we do have a new channel. We're going to be moving over there full-time in probably a week and a half or 2 weeks total time. So if you wouldn't mind, we're trying to get that channel up to 1,000 subscribers is our first goal. If you want to subscribe over there and watch over there as well, we have an additional 86 people watching on that channel too. So we're moving the Kevin and Zach React Show from the Ryan Ripken Show channel to the new Kevin and Zach React channel. And then, of course, be sure to keep it locked on the Ryan Ripken Show as well, which is live Monday and Thursday. We had a trade deadline extravaganza yesterday, 5-hour marathon, and we had almost 13,000 people watch that just in the moment. So really appreciate the turnout and the support. You can like and subscribe on both channels. And we do, Aviator Sam, we have 770 plus subs on the new channel. We've had this new channel up for only 4 days now, and we're already at 770 plus. So really appreciate everybody for all the support over there, and really hope you can join us on the new channel because we're going to have call-ins, we're going to have live game watch-alongs, new membership. So we have everything over there coming your way. Now, I do think, Rocco, the other part of what the last couple of days have been for the Orioles has been the trade deadline. We're about 24 hours out of the 22 names that changed hands for the Orioles, whether it was acquisitions, trade out guys, end up calling guys up, DFAing guys. What is your 24-hour reaction from the trade deadline? How do you feel about it now as opposed to in the moment?
Hasn't changed. I mean, I gave the O's a B-. I think that's a fair grade. I don't think, an A would have been going out and just like making the biggest splash in the world, which many thought they were potentially going to do. But then the market kind of changed when the Astros made that trade, and you saw the prospect hauls teams were getting back for guys not named Garrett Crochet, Tarek Skubal, other big names that didn't get moved at the trade deadline. So I think Mike Elias did a solid job addressing the O's needs. People still have their concerns about back-end relief, the closer, what that's going to look like. Listen, I get that. Rightfully so. It's a nervous thing to watch Craig Kimbrell or someone else come in and close a game. But mainly it's him right now. I mean, that's a guy you went out and got in the offseason, and you paid him, $13 million to come in here. And it's like, can you trust Craig Kimbrell to win you the big games? Not now, but when it comes to the later months of the season and in the postseason, because that's when you're really going to need to lean on a guy to close out games. You can't get to the 8th and the 9th inning with a 2-run lead and just blow it in those situations, because the O's aren't always going to put up 8, 9, 10 runs, especially when it comes to facing the best of the best in the American League in a postseason push. Okay, so they're gonna need, whether it's Craig Kimbrell, whether it's Seranthony Dominguez, whether it's someone else. And I know Phillies fans are laughing at the O's right now. They're like, you just got the guys that blew games for us last season. Well, all right, fresh start for both guys. Hopefully Craig Kimbrell can just figure things out. And right now, this is the time to figure it out. You don't want a guy that is a future Hall of Famer trying to figure it out when it comes to making a postseason push or trying to win the pennant.
Yeah, and I see a lot of comments in here, and I was kind of on this the first couple of days, but Seranthony Dominguez, I feel like, should be the Orioles. At least they should give him a shot to be the new closer here. And look, they're going to – I know that there were other comments that, by management that said that Kimbrell's still the guy there, but it feels like to me Dominguez should get the shot. Now, we have someone in the back that is just itching to get on the screen here. And we have Joe here saying that Zach's letting Rocco take over his channel. So we're going to let Zach take it right back from him. Zach Bollinger in the house, everybody.
Jackson Holliday truther, Zach Bollinger reporting. What a day, baby. I'm going to ignore the negative vibes about Jordan Westburg because I've yet to cope with it. But Jackson
showered last 2 days?
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I just got out of the shower. I actually just took a family photo. That's why, guys, I messed up. I'm not getting to this place by 6. I am still in Rehoboth.
You just look like a dirty human being.
Shut up.
Wow.
When are we? Are you guys? What time are you guys getting to this soccer event? I feel like
we're probably gonna leave in.
We're
probably gonna leave in like 15 minutes. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm still on. I'm trying to Can a homie not try to get out?
We're gonna leave at 4:45 at the latest, Zach. Try to get down there at a decent time.
All right, that sounds good. But yeah, no, I just wanted to come on and say Jackson Holliday is an absolute stud. Yeah, I also did not want Rocco to take over my show, so here we are.
Well, maybe. I'm doing it from Rocco's house, and I kicked Rocco out to his deck. So.
Yeah, no, I was wondering how you guys were doing this, to be honest, but I just didn't question it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's working out. We're not. We
might.
might.
On you, man. He said you should have left 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
He's probably talking to us.
It took 20 minutes for my family photo to get done, so it was bad.
Yeah, when's the stash going, Zach? I feel like people want to know.
True.
Well, I said if the Orioles got swept, I would if the Orioles got swept on Sunday, I was going to shave it off live on stream. And then what have they done? 1, 4, or 5. So, what am I going to do? Ruin the vibes, Rocco? I do need to trim it. It has gotten really grossly long, but
just need to get rid of it, bud.
No, Rocco, I'm sorry that you can't grow a mustache like this.
Zach, I can. I choose not to.
Oh, now you got to. Now he called you out. Now you got to do it.
Dude, Rocco,
listen, I'm unemployed right now. I would like to not stay unemployed for longer than like 2 to 3 weeks. I'm cool with everything right now. I'm just enjoying life. But when it gets to like a month and I have like a full-grown mustache, I don't know if I'm getting the job.
You can't.
Maybe that would be what gets you the job.
No, anyway, let's get back on topic.
Yeah, all right, you guys do that. I'm going to focus on the road. I don't want to.
Yes, please focus on the road. Zach is doing very non-ethical things right now.
A random rant. My 1 up, 1 down, injuries. 1 up, Jackson fucking Holliday. So, yeah, enjoy, guys.
All right, peace out.
Peace out.
Yeah, who could have guessed that? 1 up, 1 down.
Oh man,
jeez,
unbelievable.
Yeah, we can quickly do it.
He said in the private chat, he's like, Rocco, STFU, I'm trying to make an appearance.
Yeah, that's what usually happens is one of us is talking and the other one is behind screen waiting to be brought up, but the other person goes for like 3 or 4 minutes and we're just sitting there like, are we gonna have a shot?
I just wait sometimes. Like, I'll wait. Like, if Rip's on a rant and just talking, he won't even know I'm back there, and I have to add myself.
Yeah, you waited a long time on the deadline stream yesterday, at first, because we were doing that. You think Ryan Mountcastle likes playing the Blue Jays?
I think he loves playing the Blue Jays.
Unreal. But again, this is what we love to see. 2 home runs for the Orioles on the day. Colton Cowser, again, just has found his home in the leadoff spot, which has been incredible to see. You have Tony with another 2 hits. You have Seti with another 2 hits. Bottom of the lineup, each gets 1, and obviously in that 8 spot, Jackson got the biggest of the game. But you got production from the bottom of your lineup. Said he also walked 3. He was a technical 5 for 5 on the day, but obviously it only counts for 2 because he had 3 walks. But this is the lineup, and this is what we want to see from this offense, right? Hitting effectively, or at least somewhat effectively, with runners in scoring position. Not relying on the long ball for your 10 runs totally, where, again, a lot of them did come on the long ball. Half of them did. But, again, you don't rely on that for all your runs. You get guys in, you see the ball well. And, again, offenses go through slumps, and the Orioles have had a pretty long one. Pretty long one with their offense, but it seems like they're getting back on track. And again, they got to keep it going. You can't just have this and then put your foot off the gas. You got to be able to go over and make sure that this is the offense that you can have long term. But for now, it just feels like with everything going on, it feels like guys are getting back on track. Obviously, something I would like to see get back on track is Gunnar in the field. So we know that he's been kind of off there recently. In fact, not kind of. He has been off. So hopefully he can get back on track. I don't know. It's just a mental thing, it feels like, for me.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, and I'd like to see Adley really get back on track because he had been – I mean, the struggles are evident at the plate. Last 15 games, he's hitting 113. So you want to see him get back to where he was the beginning of the season, because he was one of the hottest bats in the league. He was hitting over 300. He was hitting bombs left and right. So I don't think Adley's going to struggle for long, and I really hope he doesn't. But it's been a rough go-around. You could see the frustration at the plate over the last couple of games for him. It was evident. So when he gets back on track, I mean, this will be a scary team in the later months of the season. But that's what you want to see. Like the guys that are your heart and soul, like the corner pieces, really producing in the big moments. So if he can get his bat back, this team's going to be in a really good position going forward. They already are right now, record-wise. So just continue to build, and hopefully guys can just figure it out as they go. It's tough. Baseball's a tough game. Rip talks about it all the time. It is not easy by any means. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but hopefully there's more ups for this team going forward.
Yeah, and also we didn't talk about Grayson yet. 6 innings, scattered some hits and runs along there. 6 hits, 3 runs. Did have some walks scattered in his 2 with 3. 8 strikeouts though, so he was feeling himself with those. Again, I thought an overall very solid start from Grayson, and you take that 10 times out of 10. 3 runs, 6 innings, almost double-digit strikeouts. I mean, him and Corbin Burns are going to be your aces moving in here to the postseason, and feels like he's getting into form. I know the walks, you would like to see the walks cut down a little bit, but Grayson with another solid start, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, and this is a much different looking rotation than it was before the trade deadline. I'll tell you that much. It's not going to be, as much as fans, they really like Albert Suarez and they fell in love with his game this season because it was the feel-good story. Him in the pen, long relief, and that's what Mike Elias alluded to today. You don't need to see Albert Suarez in the starting rotation anymore. You don't. So to bolster the rotation, to look at, the 1, 2, 3 they have, and to do it with the injuries they suffered this season. I'm lagging right now, Kev. Are you good?
Yeah, you were lagging a little bit, but we can hear you now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my internet. It's probably because both of us are on it. Yeah, I might have gotten it from Walmart. Right. So got the Walmart connection right now.
It's all right. I have that all the time. But yeah, it also we saw. I can't find the comment. Let me see if I can get it quickly. If not, I remember what it was. But here we go. Can you get an opinion on DFA and Cole Irvin? Cole had struggled, and I'm not just bringing this up because you're on, Rocco, but I actually wanted to talk about it. He's a guy that, was great to start the season as a starter. I think a lot of people, he exceeded expectations, everybody's expectations, but he was always giving up hard contact. That was beginning to translate into hits and runs. They moved him into kind of like the long guy. But with Suarez moving to the bullpen, he was expendable. And I think that you feel much more confident with Suarez in that role as opposed to Irvin. Obviously, they brought in a lot of bullpen arms, and there's not room for everybody. I mean, you would hope he can sneak down to Norfolk, but I'm telling you right now, it's probably not happening. He's probably going to get picked up somewhere, and it's what it's going to be. So obviously, we talked to Cole, and he's a great guy and a very talented baseball player, but he was in a rut. And with the Orioles bringing in a bunch of bullpen arms, they had to get rid of some guys. And, we've seen Natoli get DFA'd, and, they put down a couple of other guys too. And so Irvin was kind of like you had to decide between a few. Burt Smith has been incredible. You're not going to bring him down. Obviously, I know everybody's talking about Aiken and what are you going to do with Aiken, but I think Irvin was the one-for-one with Suarez, where you want to have like that long guy there. You want to have multiple, obviously, but with Irvin being in a rut and Suarez getting moved there, I think that was the move that they felt they had to make, and it's a move that makes sense to me. So even though Irvin's a great guy, obviously he cares a lot about the Baltimore community and has done a lot for the Baltimore community and has had some moments up with this big league club, the time unfortunately ran out here.
Yeah, Kev, and just looking at Cole Irvin's numbers, it was tough. In 6 of his final 8 outings with the O's this season, he gave up 4 or more earned runs, and you can't have that as a starter. You can't have that out of a guy in the bullpen if it's consistent, and it started to get to be an issue for Cole Irvin. He had a great start to the season. We laugh about the quote-unquote jinx, but, all respect for Cole Irvin and what he did. I mean, big community guy, and he'll be missed as a human being, but baseball-wise, when it comes to baseball, this is a business, and this was the right move for the Orioles. It's a guy that had struggled with his arm. When he goes down and gets DFA'd, I think this is a guy that is going to potentially be able to help another team going forward. If he's able to come back to Baltimore in the long run and figure some things out, and that's what happened last year when he got sent down and he came back up and he looked more polished because they brought him over last year to be an innings eater. And he wasn't at the beginning of the year, and that's why he got sent down, moved to the bullpen. This year, he was pushed towards the starting rotation because injuries happened to Bradish, to Means. So you needed a guy in the back end of the rotation to step up, and that guy was Cole Irvin to start. But you kind of knew that there was potentially going to be, or that was the fear, that there was eventually going to be some regression with Cole Irvin, and it ended up happening. And with that, the O's make the move to DFA him. So in my opinion, it's the right move. It sucks, but again, baseball's a business, and it's something that needed to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And we got some more trade news here. Casey, who is a more reliable reporter than Zach Bollinger and Ryan Ripken, by the way, because those are the two fake reporters. Casey saying that Jackson got his home run ball and then said that it was a dad and a little boy. Said it was if it was his son, he would want him to get his ball back too, which is a really sweet thing. And then apparently Jackson gave the little guy his bat, which incredible, awesome, feel good story. So Casey doing some good reporting work. Obviously, Zach Bollinger and Ryan Ripken cannot relate to that. So awesome. It's just a feel-good moment all around. Obviously, the Westberg news kind of puts a damper on everything, but overall, I'd say an overall great vibes game for the Orioles to take 3 of 4 from Toronto, which is one of the best-case scenarios. Obviously, the sweep would have been the best, but you know what? You take it, and in my opinion, this team is looking back on track. Are they yet? We still have to see. Can they continue this momentum? Have a big series coming up this weekend, but look, if Jackson can get back to the Jackson that we know, that we've seen in the minor leagues, and if he continues to do what he's doing, and I think that the next shoe to drop here is obviously what they do with their infield situation with Westberg now out. Is it going to be Mayo? Is it going to be Arias full-time? Is it going to be Valver? There's a lot of question marks, but not a question today. The Orioles crush the Blue Jays and get out of here with 3 out of 4 from Toronto. So, Rocco, we're going to head out of here in a couple minutes. Any final thoughts for you?
We should probably get out of here too. Yep. No, I think we should get out of here, get on the road, and head down to Annapolis before Brad starts yelling because, he thinks he's our boss, but he's not.
Yeah, so we're gonna get out of here. By the way, just one more time on the way out, Kevin and Zach React is a live post-game show for every single Orioles game. It's a part of the Ryan Ripken Media Network. We go live after every single Orioles game. We'll do a bunch of stuff for the Ravens as well, and just general reactions in general. So obviously we already have a lot of people watching on the Ryan Ripken Show channel, 151 right now. So really appreciate all of you. But if you could do us a favor and head over to the new channel and give us tap that subscribe button. You can tap that like button. You can watch over there. Trying to get that channel up to 1,000. Yeah, see, exactly. Do what Rocco's doing. Spam all those buttons. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. So would really appreciate your support. We are almost to 800 on that channel after having, it only up for 4 days. So link is right there in the chat if you want to support us over there. We're going to be cross-streaming for the next couple of weeks, and then we're going to be going full-time over on the Kevin and Zach React channel only. And again, be sure to check out the Ryan Ripken Show. We are live Mondays and Thursdays. We also have that up in audio form as well. So if you want to listen to our shows in audio form, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the whole 9 yards or 9 innings if we're talking baseball, be sure to check us out over there. You can leave a review. If you want to leave a 5-star review and roast all of us, you can do that. We really appreciate your support over there. And again, we are heading out to Annapolis for the Stateside Cup right now. So we're going to try to film a lot of awesome content out there. Ryan's going to try to not hit any crossbars this time around, and we are going to have a lot of fun. So
be sure to follow Ryan on Instagram as well. We want to put that in there because we'll be posting a lot of content from his page on his story, reels and whatnot. So that's at Ryan Ripken on Instagram, and follow along for our journey down to Annapolis for the big Stateside Cup. We're really looking forward to it.
Yep, we got a big journey ahead, so we're going to head out and get to that right now. This has been an episode of Kevin and Zach React. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in to the show. We'll be back here. Orioles are starting up a big series with the Cleveland Guardians, so we have a lot in store for this weekend. So be sure to stay tuned. We'll see you right back here soon on Kevin and Zach React and the Ryan Ripken Show. Peace out, everybody.